Hi everyone, Cosmic Mango here, your favourite mango from outer space. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Welcome to an episode of Budget Pickups, a show where I pick a commander and guide you through some great cards that you can buy on a budget to add to that commander's deck. In today's episode, I have chosen the exciting new commander, Sauron, the Dark Lord, from the new Lord of the Rings set's Tale of Middle-earth. A very powerful commander indeed. I mean, it's Sauron. Sauron in Magic the Gathering. Wow, what a world we live in. So cool. Anyway, enough of me waffling. Let's get into the list. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I'm going to start off with showing you Sauron the Dark Lord and reading the card text. Sauron the Dark Lord is a legendary avatar horror creature that costs 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, and 3 generic mana to cast. He has 7 power and 6 toughness and says the following. Ward. Sacrifice a legendary artifact or legendary creature. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass Orcs 1. Whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 4 cards. Sauron offers a lot of great and juicy card text. He has Ward, which makes him hard for opponents to target, as they will most likely not want to sacrifice a legendary artifact or creature. It's a steep price to pay. Sauron rewards us each time our opponents cast a spell, as we get to amass Orcs 1. This ability is actually interesting and I think it'll be overlooked quite often, but it seems pretty damn busted to me. In fact, the majority of cards listed in this video are going to have the amass trigger, as I think Sauron really benefits with the more armies and amass triggers that you can get going in the game. We get highly rewarded each time an army we control deals combat damage, as we get the ring tempts you trigger. Then, whenever the ring tempts you, we may discard our whole hand, and if we do, we get 4 new cards. This is a very sweet little trick, as you could, in theory, have no cards in your hand and draw 4 new ones, or maybe just have 1 or 2 cards in your hand, chuck them away, and then draw 4 hopefully better ones. So, that's the basics of what Sauron the Dark Lord does. So, let's get into the budget pickup guide. Let's start with the instant and sorcery spells. Widespread Brutality, a sorcery spell that costs 2 red, 1 black, 1 generic mana to cast. It says the following. Amass 2, then the army you amass deals damage equal to its power to each non-army creature. To amass 2, put 2 1/1 counters on an army you control. If you don't control one, create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first. With Sauron, we want to have many easy options to accessing armies. This is one of those options. Does what we want it to do very efficiently, and you can buy this card for around 60 cents. Lazotep Plating, an instant spell that costs 1 blue and 1 generic mana to cast. It says the following. Amass 1. You and permanents you control gain hexproof until the end of turn. Lazotep is a very cost-effective way to amass an army for us. Furthermore, we even get that bonus protection it offers, giving us and permanents we control hexproof until the end of turn. All at instant speed and all for just 2 total mana. It's a very, very good card indeed. You can buy this card for around 80 cents. Ringsight, a sorcery spell that costs 1 blue, 1 black, and 1 generic mana to cast. It says the following. The ring tempts you. Search your library for a card that shares a color with a legendary creature you control, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. This card will help us trigger the ring tempts you ability rather easily. Then we also get to tutor for a card that shares a color with a legendary creature we control. With Sauron out on the field, we have access to all colors our decks is running, that being Grixis. So we can search for quite a few of the colored cards, well, all the colored cards in our deck if Sauron is out. You can buy this card for around 35 cents. Feed the Swarm, a sorcery spell that costs 1 black and 1 generic mana to cast. It says the following. Destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls, you lose life equal to that permanent's mana value. This is just a wonderful removal spell and I highly recommend it. I've used it so many times as a commander, it always seems to do really well. Definitely pick one of these up. You can buy this card for around 65 cents. Extract from Darkness, a sorcery spell that costs 1 blue, 1 black, and 3 generic mana to cast. It says the following. Each player mills 2 cards, then you put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. I like the idea of this card in a Sauron deck. The reason being, we are likely discarding multiple number of hands that we own to draw 4 new cards, from Sauron's ability. So the chances are we have stacked up a nice amount of creatures in our graveyards. This spell can help us cheat one of them back into play. You can buy this card for around 35 cents. Invade the City, a sorcery spell that costs 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 generic mana to cast. It says the following: amass X, where X is the number of instant sorcery cards in your graveyard. Again, this is a wonderful card to help us amass an army. With Sauron the Dark Lord, we want to be able to amass as much as possible, and you can buy this card for around 35 cents. So those are the instant sorceries I would recommend. Now let's move on to the next stage of the video. Let's discuss the creatures I recommend for a Sauron the Dark Lord deck that you can buy on a budget. Lazotep Chancellor, a zombie wizard creature that costs 1 black, 1 blue, and 1 mana to cast. It has 1 power and 3 toughness, and it says the following: when you discard a card, you may pay 1 generic mana. If you do, amass 2. With Sauron the Dark Lord, we will very much likely be discarding cards due to his pretty sweet effect. So why not play this creature, as it can help reward us with an army each time we do discard. Paying 1 generic mana is a very easy amount, cheap amount to pay, so why not play this card? You can buy this card for around 35 cents. Mauhur Uruk-hai Captain, I really hope I pronounced that correctly. A legendary orc soldier creature that costs 1 red, 1 black, mana to cast. It has 2 power and 2 toughness, and it says the following: menace, if 1 or more counters will be put on an army, goblin or orc you control, that many plus 1 more counters are put on it instead. We can use this creature to help build up our armies to ridiculous heights, then swing for the wing, baby, you know what I'm saying? You can buy this card for around 35 cents. Nightscape Familiar, a zombie creature that costs 1 black and 1 generic mana to cast. It says the following: blue spells and red spells you cast cost 1 generic mana less to cast. For 1 generic mana and 1 black mana, we generate Nightscape Familiar. So I love this creature. It can help massively reduce the casting cost of many spells in our deck. We are playing Grixis, so reducing red and black spells is a massive help for us. Plus, this creature only costs 2 mana to cast, and you can actually regenerate it when it gets killed. You can buy this card for around 35 cents. Gleaming Overseer, a zombie wizard creature that costs 1 blue, 1 black, mana to cast. It has 1 power and 4 toughness, and it says the following: when Gleaming Overseer enters the battlefield, amass zombies 1. Zombie tokens you control have hexproof and menace. Another brilliant addition for creating an army. The whole theme for Sauron decks is to allow us easy ways for creating huge armies and stomping our opponent's life totals. You can buy this card for around 40 cents. Eternal Skylord, a zombie wizard creature that costs 1 blue and 4 generic mana to cast. He has 3 power and 3 toughness, and it says the following: when Eternal Skylord enters the battlefield, amass 2. It may be hard for some of our armies to get some combat damage through. Eternal Skylord will help us make all the zombie tokens we created have that extra versatility needed to fly over and deal some nice, juicy combat damage to our opponents. You can buy this card for around 40 cents. So those are the creatures. Now let's discuss the enchantments. Dreadhorde Invasion, an enchantment spell that costs 1 black and 1 generic mana to cast, and it says the following: at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and amass 1. Put a 1 more counter on an army you control. If you don't control one, create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first. Whenever a zombie token you control for power 6 or greater attacks, it gains lifelink until the end of the turn. This is an absolutely amazing card. We get to easily trigger the amass ability with this enchantment, and we can later use it to gain lifelink with the zombie army we control once it's big enough. An absolutely brilliant card, and you can buy this card for around 50 cents. Phyrexian Arena, an enchantment spell that costs 2 black, 1 generic mana to cast. It says the following: at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. This card may shock you, as for a very long time this card used to be very expensive to buy. However, thanks to a recent reprint, the card is now pretty much budget friendly. Phyrexian Arena offers incredible card draw for a very low mana cost. It's definitely worth playing, this card in any deck that's running black, to be honest. It's very, very good. You can buy this card for around $3, maybe a little bit pricey, but still, this card used to be worth so much more. So $3 is actually pretty much a steal right now. Rising of the Day, an enchantment spell that costs 1 red and 2 generic amount of cast. It says the following: creatures you control have haste, legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. This is just a superb way to give our creatures haste. In fact, this is pretty much a staple now in my opinion for any deck that's running red. We also get to buff up our legendary creatures with +1/+0, which is a very solid card overall. Can't really go wrong running this, and you can buy it for 35 cents. Goblin Bombardment, an enchantment spell that costs 1 red and 1 generic amount of cast. It says the following: sacrifice a creature. Goblin Bombardment deals 1 damage to any target. This could get really fun in a Sauron the Dark Lord deck, as we can use it to sack armies and deal damage. This means we can really abuse the mass mechanic combined with this card. I mean, for example, if an opponent casts a spell, we amass an army, yeah? So then we could sack that orc straight away. Then if he casts another spell, we create another orc, and then we could sack that orc straight away to Goblin Bombardment, just start dealing damage like crazy to our opponents. I think this could be a very solid game-winning piece for the deck. And you can buy this card for around $1.90. So that's the enchantments done. Now, let's talk about the artifacts. Wayfarer's Bauble, an artifact spell that costs 1 generic mana to cast, and it says the following: for 2 generic mana and tap, sacrifice Wayfarer's Bauble, search library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. A wonderful mana fixer and a very low cost. This card can gain you easy access to the missing colour your hand needs. You can buy this card for around 50 cents. Trailblazer Boots, an equipment spell that costs 2 generic mana to cast. It says the following: equipped creature has non-basic land walk. It can't be blocked as long as the defending player controls a non-basic land. Equip 2 generic mana. I love this card. I find it to be highly underrated. I barely see it. Commander is full of non-basic lands, so chances are you're always going to be able to attack with unblockable with these sexy boots. Right, they look a bit worn, but hey, these boots are pretty cool, okay? They're pretty sexy, right? You can buy this card for around $1.60. Okie dokie, we have come to the end of my budget pickup guide. I really hope you enjoyed my list. Sauron the Dark Lord looks really powerful, and I'm excited to try the deck out. Please leave a comment on what you think of the cards I've chosen. It is always fun to chat with you in the comment section. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video. As always, thanks so much for watching everyone, and take care.